Hello and welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Ash had just arrived back from Kalos, and the first thing he wanted was to reunite with his mom and enjoy a delicious meal. Upon reaching his house, he noticed a gathering of friends and decided to find out what was going on. "Hey everyone, what are you all doing here?" he asked. "Ash, we have something important to discuss," Brock replied. "Okay, what is it?" Ash inquired. "We think you should consider settling down with someone," Iris and Scylla suggested. "Serena, Dawn, and May all have feelings for you." The girls blushed at the mention of their names. "What?" Ash exclaimed, surprised. "Please understand, Ash," Clement added. "We're not saying you should stop traveling or catching Pokémon, but maybe you should think about becoming a researcher like Gary. If you think I will give up my dream, then you don't know me at all," Ash said firmly. He turned to Dawn and May, who had been quiet. "I want to hear your honest opinions before I decide." Everyone turned to face Dawn and May, who stood a little apart from the group. "We think you should follow your heart," Dawn said. "Yeah, during our travels, we often took your focus away from your own training," May added, recalling their time raising Manaphy together. With that, Ash, Dawn, and May rushed to Professor Oak's lab to gather their Pokémon. Some of them were not pleased to see Ash, but a few, including Bayleaf, Totodile, Gibble, and Charizard, were excited to reunite. Once Ash returned all of them, some of the other Pokémon approached, eager to join him. They included Clement's Heliolisk and Luxray, Serena's Braixen and Sylveon, and Misty's Gyarados. As they gathered, Ash handed his Pokémon to May and Dawn and instructed Charizard to fly away, promising he would find them again. Reluctantly, May and Dawn took off on Charizard, worried about Ash. Suddenly, they heard a loud explosion and turned to see a massive cloud of smoke. They quickly returned, and Charizard managed to grab Ash and fly away unnoticed. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Origin, legendary Pokémon were gathered to check on Ash. "I hope Ash is okay," Diancie said. "He's my papa, so he has to be fine," Mabafi added excitedly, eager to see him. When Arceus displayed Ash's image, everyone was shocked by his condition, and Manaphy was comforted by Mew and Jirachi. "Hoopa, summon a portal to bring them here," Arceus commanded. Hoopa created a giant ring, and when Charizard flew through, they all arrived at the Hall of Origin. "Arceus, please save Ash," May pleaded, tears in her eyes. "Anything, just bring him back," cried Dawn. Arceus explained that the only way Ash could survive was to become a legendary Pokémon. He offered to transform May and Dawn into Latias as well, so they could be with Ash. Once they agreed, Ash began to glow with blue light, while May and Dawn were enveloped in red light. When the glow faded, two new Latias and a Latios stood before them. May and Dawn were the first to awaken, and Arceus informed them it might take a few days for Ash to regain consciousness. A week passed, and everyone was anxious for Ash's recovery. Latias asked Arceus why Ash hadn't woken up yet. "I don't know, my daughter," Arceus replied. "He should have awakened by now." To help him, Arceus called upon the water legendaries to use a gentle water attack on Ash. When Kyogre's water hit him, Ash woke up. "How do you feel, my child?" Arceus asked. "I feel fine, but a bit strange," Ash replied. "It's because I turned you into a Latios to save you, and since you have strong bonds with Latias, May, and Dawn, I transformed them into Latias as well. Now, you are their mate," Arceus explained. Ash fainted at the revelation. "Looks like that was too much for him," Diancie noted. Manaphy quickly splashed Ash with water to wake him again. "Where are May, Dawn, and Latias?" Ash asked. "They're in your shared room," Arceus said. Melmetal guided Ash to his room, and as soon as Latias, May, and Dawn saw him awake, they rushed to hug him tightly. After the embrace, Ash spent the rest of the day practicing his new powers with them. They eventually had complete control over their new bodies and powers and were all able to turn into a human form. After several years, Ash had finally formed a bond with May, Dawn, and Latias, claiming them as his partners. They discovered that the Traitors had become increasingly troublesome since their disappearance. Brock had taken back control of his gym after his father's passing and banned all grass and water Pokémon. Max had resorted to stealing Pokémon from trainers, forcing them to hand over their strongest Pokémon if they lost, but he would flee if he lost. Syllan had been using questionable items in his cooking, while Iris had banned all fairy and ice types from her gym, often mocking her opponents when she won. Misty had similarly banned electric, grass, and bug types from her gym. Serena and Dileia had been taking advantage of wealthy men, threatening their families if they revealed anything. Clement was gathering machine parts from the black market and neglecting his gym duties. Bonnie had set up a Pokémon daycare, where she pretended to be friendly but stole trainers' Pokémon, claiming they had run away. Ash's other friends had distanced themselves from the Traitors, with Callum cutting ties with Serena, and Alan being harsh towards them. Syllan's and Misty's siblings disowned them, while Norman and Caroline banned Max from returning home. Shauna, Tierno, Arya, and Serena's rivals no longer spoke to her, and Gary and Professor Oak severed connections, releasing any Pokémon sent by the Traitors. Paul, Trip, and Ash's rivals also refused to communicate with them. 5 years later, Ash was training with all his Pokémon, feeling anger each time he thought of his former partners, especially Pikachu, who had joined Bonnie to comfort her after Deden was stolen. As Pikachu grew closer to Bonnie, his powers diminished, leaving everyone confused. Zekrom, Thundurus, Zapdos, and Raikou had been secretly draining his electric powers, reducing him to basic strength. Ash's other Pokémon felt remorse for how they had treated him and wished they could apologize. In the Hall of Origin, Arceus called Ash to discuss these matters. "Ash, I have something to tell you," Arceus said. Ash, who had been calling Arceus father since he saved his life, listened intently. "I have been watching the Traitors and found something interesting," Arceus continued, piquing Ash's curiosity. "It turns out only Pikachu joined them of his own accord. The others were either coerced or threatened. They all wish to see you and apologize. Shall I bring them here?" "Yes, please. I would love to see them again," Ash replied eagerly. "Oh, I almost forgot. Some of the Pokémon you released want to join you again as well," Arceus added. Ash was thrilled to hear this. Arceus named several Pokémon who wished to return, including Primeape, Lapras, Butterfree, Pidgeot, Squirtle, Haunter, a group of 6 EVs, Goodra, a mysterious Kangaskhan, Togekiss, Bagon, a Tyrant, and an Amora. Arceus summoned each Pokémon, and when they saw Ash, they rushed to him, tackling him in a joyful reunion. Primeape playfully took Ash's hat, and to Ash's surprise, he told Primeape he could keep it. Glisker, one of the Pokémon who had betrayed him, spoke up. "Ash, we know you are probably furious with us, but can we explain why we betrayed you before you decide if we can join you again?" "Alright, those of you who weren't there, Keldeo and Genesect will guide you to the other Pokémon," Ash stated. Once they left, Ash was alone with his Pokémon. "Ash, I promise we never wanted to betray you," Glalie said. "It's true they forced us through any means necessary," Kingler added, tears in his eyes. "We all regret it and wish we had been stronger back then." "I know, and I forgive you all. Now let's go tell the others about this," Ash said, ready to reunite with his friends. "Actually, Ash, they knew about it, but we had to force them into not telling you back when we were under their threats, so they might not have told you to keep us safe, but I think they knew," Swellow explained. After reuniting with all his Pokémon and catching up, Ash noticed that almost everyone had evolved to their desired forms, and some of his Pokémon retained their unique traits. Meganium would still tackle Ash and nuzzle him affectionately, while Charizard always greeted him with a flamethrower, just like Typhlosion. Feraligatr would dance energetically when he wasn't being serious, and Gengar often startled everyone, even some legendaries, due to his mischievous antics. Ash recalled the times Gengar had run from legendaries, like when he scared the entire Genesect pack or snuck up on Yveltal. If it weren't for Ash, Gengar might have faced dire consequences. Arceus decided to host a meeting and called everyone together. My sons, daughters, and friends, there will be a tournament held in the Alola region in 1 year, and every powerful trainer is allowed to enter. I have decided that Ash, May, and Dawn shall enter, but they will be receiving us to add to their teams. Dawn, please step forward. I shall entrust you with Kyurem, Reshiram, Zekrom, Heatran, Xerneas, Victini, one of the Gene Sect, Uxie, Azelf, Mesprit, Shaymin, Jirachi, and Tornadus. May, step forward. I entrust you with Manaphy, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Deoxys, Phyone, Landorus, Regice, Registeel, Regirock, Regigigas, a Gene Sect, and Meloetta. And finally, Ash, I give you everyone else, including myself, Arceus declared as Master Ball appeared before each legendary and mythical Pokémon. Once everyone was caught, they handed their Pokeball to their trainers, and they set off to train. 1 year of training passed, and each of Dawn's and May's Pokémon matched the legendaries in strength, while all of Ash's Pokémon were equal to Arceus himself. Ash called out Hoopa to summon a portal to a Pokémon Center in Alola for registration. Aaliyah Hoopa ring. Hoopa exclaimed. Once the portal opened, Ash, May, and Dawn walked through, recalling Hoopa before heading to register. They were thrilled to have the limiters off, allowing them to carry all their Pokémon in their Nanodexes. Upon reaching the Pokémon Center, they encountered a group of familiar faces. Standing before them were Clement, Syllan, Brock, Bonnie, Max, Dileia, Iris, Misty, Serena, and Pikachu. When Max spotted May, he rushed over to hug her but was met with a slap to the face. Ow! What was that for, May? I am your brother. What are you and Dawn doing here, and who is he? Max asked, pointing at the man in the hood. You are no brother of mine, not ever since you betrayed Ash, May replied. Then she had an idea. Max, I have someone who has been wanting to tell you something for a long time. Come on out, Gallade. The Gallade that used to be Max's Ralts appeared before them. Do you recognize him, Max? This used to be your Ralts until it came to us with its Pokeball and joined us along with some other Pokemon you all would recognize from your journeys with Ash, May explained. You still haven't answered my other question. Who is that guy? Max asked again, annoyed and angry that his Pokemon had left him for what he considered a weak trainer. Ash pulled down his hood, revealing his face, causing the traitors to gasp and back away. Well, look who it is, the weakling returns, Bonnie sneered. I'd watch your tongue unless you want the true reason Pokemon go missing after being left in your care revealed to the public, Ash warned. Bonnie froze, her mind racing with thoughts of how he knew that. Everyone else was shocked. After Ash, May, and Dawn registered, Misty and Max challenged them to a battle, with the winner claiming the loser's Pokemon, and each trainer could use 3 Pokemon. As the battle began, Ash and May agreed to use 1 legendary Pokemon each and 2 of the traitors' old Pokemon. Come on out, Arcanine. Max yelled. Sharpedo, I choose you. Misty called. Both Pokemon appeared looking worn. Let's win this, Haxorus. Ash shouted. Shake, rattle, and roll, Steelix. May added. What? Brock and Iris exclaimed. Why are our Pokemon with you too? Brock asked, holding back Iris. They joined us after you all betrayed me, and they are not the only ones, Dawn stated from the sidelines. Steelix, use Dig. May commanded. Haxorus, use Draco Meteor. Ash instructed. Giant asteroids fell, impacting Sharpedo and Arcanine. Sharpedo is unable to battle. Ash, you may claim his Pokeball from Misty, the referee announced. But before Ash could move, Steelix emerged and knocked out Arcanine as well. Arcanine is unable to battle. May, you may claim his Pokeball now. They took their Pokeball and crushed them before catching the 2 themselves. Haxorus, return, Ash said. You too, Steelix. You both did great, May added. Destroy them, why Lord? Misty commanded. Crush them, Empoleon. Max shouted. Just then, Ash and May started laughing. What's so funny? Misty yelled. Nothing, it's just we thought you were better trainers, but we were clearly wrong, May replied. Alright, let's do this. It's time I summon the Guardian of Thunder. Come on out, Thundurus. Ash yelled. I call upon the King of the Sea, show your power, Kyogre. May shouted. What? How did you get legendaries? Misty and Max exclaimed in unison. Ash and May ignored their surprise. It's time, Thundurus, reveal your true form, Ash commanded. Thundurus transformed into his true form. Kyogre, Primal Evolve. May yelled. Instantly, it began to rain heavily, enough that only Fire-type Pokémon with legendary power could use their moves without being extinguished, though they would be weakened. Kyogre, finish off Raichu with Origin Pulse, May instructed. Thundurus, let's end this with a massive thunderbolt and show Pikachu the true power of an electric type, Ash said, glancing at Pikachu. With a single move, both Raichu and Walrein were knocked out. Ash and May took them to the Pokémon Center for healing. Once they returned to their room, Ash remembered he had forgotten about Latias and released her. She was not pleased about being confined for so long. Sorry, Latias, I forgot to release you before my battle, Ash said, hoping to appease her. Latias gave him a playful grin, making him a bit nervous. I'll forgive you, but only if we do what we talked about, since it is mating season, she replied, transforming into her Latias form. Ash transformed into a Latios, and they shared a special moment, resulting in Latias gaining an egg. To keep it safe, she stayed in the room from then on. It was time for the first battle of the tournament, featuring Brock against Ash. When I'm done with you, you'll be nothing but Ash, Brock teased. Let's just get this over with, Ash replied, clearly uninterested. This is a 3v3 battle. The battle ends when one side has no more Pokémon able to battle, the referee announced. Storm the field, Tyrantrum. Brock commanded, releasing the powerful Pokémon. Toxicroak, time to shine, Ash declared. Toxicroak glared at Tyrantrum, filled with determination. Toxicroak, use Poison Jab. Ash instructed. Toxicroak vanished and reappeared in front of Tyrantrum, striking him multiple times. Tyrantrum fainted instantly. Tyrantrum is unable to battle. Toxicroak wins, the referee announced. After Brock handed over Tyrantrum's Pokeball, Ash recalled Toxicroak as Brock sent out his next Pokémon. Crush them, Fortress. Brock yelled. Time to awaken the Iron Snake. Steelix, show your might. Ash called, and Steelix appeared, shaking the stadium. Steelix, Mega Evolve. Ash commanded, and Mega Steelix emerged. Fortress, use Euro Ball. Brock instructed. Steelix, bat it away with Iron Tail, followed by Iron Head, and finish it with Stealth Rocks. Ash ordered. Steelix repelled Fortress's attack with his tail, then used Iron Head, nearly knocking Fortress out before finishing with Stealth Rock. Fortress is unable to battle. Mega Steelix wins. Ash claimed Fortress and recalled Steelix. Win this thing, Gigalith. Brock shouted. Guardian of the Earth, rise and show your might. Landorus, show your strength. Ash announced, releasing Landorus. Now reveal your true form and unleash the beast, Ash commanded, and Landorus transformed. Brock released his Golem, but Ash offered to have a double battle. Master of Wind, show yourself, come forth, Tornadus. Ash called, releasing him from the Master Ball. Now show your true self, Ash urged, and Tornadus transformed into a giant bird. Landorus, Earthquake combined with Tornadus's Hurricane. Ash commanded. The two legendary Pokémon shook the ground and summoned a hurricane, knocking both Golem and Gigalith out. Golem and Gigalith are unable to battle. Landorus and Tornadus win, which means the victory goes to Ash, the referee declared. As Ash walked away, Brock called on his newest Pokémon to attack, but Thundurus in his true form quickly defeated it. Ash claimed the Pokémon and took everyone to be healed. Before entering the Pokémon Center, he was confronted by some familiar faces. How did a weakling like you get Thundurus, Landorus, and Tornadus in their true forms? Max shouted. Ash Ketchum, as your mother, I demand you hand over those Pokémon this instant, Dileia said with a smirk. No, I am no longer a Ketchum, and you are no longer my mother, both legally and conditionally, because I signed papers saying I am no longer connected to you in any way, Ash replied. Just then, 6 of his Master Ball released their Pokémon, Yveltal, Mew, Mutwo, Keldeo in Resolute form, Red Genesect, and Hoopa Unbound. The sight of the legendary Pokémon caused Max and the others to flee in fear. You guys do know you didn't have to do that, right? Ash asked. Hoopa and Keldeo returned to their normal forms. Hoopa and friends just wanted to scare them, and hearing them insult Ash is unforgivable, Hoopa stated. As much as I hate to say it, the little one is right, Ash, Yveltal added. Oh Ashy, you are growing up so fast, Mew said, having adopted Ash shortly after he awoke in his Latios form. Ash, will you use me in the round against Clement? Keldeo asked. Sure, buddy, Ash replied, petting Keldeo. And I want to scare that misty character, Genesect added. I knew you would, Ash said. Let's go in and get those Pokémon checked on, Mutwo suggested. Good idea, Ash agreed. He returned all 6 legendaries and noticed the shocked faces of everyone around him as he walked inside to heal his Pokémon. It was time for the 5th battle of the first round, with May facing Iris. This is a 3v3 match between May and Iris. The battle will be over when one side has no Pokémon left. Battle begin, the referee announced. Rampage Salamence. Iris shouted, but when the dragon appeared, it looked worn out. One by one, Iris's Pokémon that were defeated were claimed by May. Show your fangs, Druddigon, May commanded. When Iris saw her former dragon Pokémon in May's possession, she was furious and distracted, failing to notice the incoming dragon pulse that knocked out Salamence. After claiming the dragon type, May recalled Druddigon. Haxorus, take the field, she said, which only fueled Iris's anger, knowing that it used to be her Axu. Take him down, Hydreigon, Iris ordered. Use Dragon Claw. They both shouted simultaneously. The claws of both dragons glowed with a purple draconic energy as they charged at each other, slashing fiercely. Once the dust settled, both dragons lay unconscious. May claimed Hydreigon and returned Haxorus, preparing to send out her 3rd and final Pokémon when Iris released her own Haxorus. However, this one was different. It was gray and red instead of the usual green and red, and it was female, while May's was male. Time to bring back the Ice Age, rise, Master of Ice, Regice, May commanded. As the ice Pokémon appeared, Iris felt a chill run down her spine, realizing that no dragon type could match a legendary ice type. Regice, use Ice Beam. May yelled. Dodge it and use Dragon Pulse. Iris instructed, but Haxorus was too slow and was hit by the Ice Beam, freezing its legs and tail. Now finish it off with Blizzard, May said. Regice summoned a massive blizzard that defeated Haxorus. May claimed the Pokémon, but as she walked back, 2 Pokémon attacked, Druddigon and Excadrill. Before they could strike again, Regirock, Registeel, and Regigigas appeared, using Mega Punch to defeat them. However, May took the Pokémon before Iris could intervene. As she headed to the Pokémon Center, the Traitors appeared again. Hand over those Pokémon now, Syllan, Max, Misty, and Serena demanded in unison. Before May could respond, 6 of her Master Ball opened, releasing Deoxys, Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Mega Rayquaza, Manaphy, and Meloetta. "Leave May alone, you cowards," the legendaries shouted together. They charged their attacks, ready to confront the traitors, who quickly fled. "Thanks, guys. I hope Dawn doesn't face this kind of trouble when she finishes her match against Max," May said. "Don't worry about Dawn, Reshiram, Zekrom, Kyurem, Xerneas, Heatran, and Genesect will keep her safe," Groudon assured, now in his regular form alongside Kyogre and Rayquaza. "My sister is right. Dawn can handle herself," Kyogre added. "Wow, that's the first time I've heard you two agree," Deoxys and Rayquaza remarked, surprised. "I'm just glad Mom is okay," Manaphy said. "Yes, we want to make sure you're alright, May," Meloetta added. "I'm fine. Let's get these Pokemon healed up," May replied, returning all 6 to their Pokeball, while onlookers stared in amazement at another trainer with so many legendaries. It was time for Dawn's battle against Max, who wouldn't stop taunting her about winning easily because she was teamed up with Ash. "This is a 3v3 battle between Max and Dawn," the referee announced. Max released his Raichu. "Come on, our Gallade," Dawn said. When Gallade appeared, Max was furious. "Raichu, use Thunder Punch," he commanded. However, his Raichu was too slow, having evolved too soon, and Gallade easily dodged the attack. "Gallade, use Psychic," Dawn instructed. With that, Raichu was thrown into the air and crashed down, knocking it out. Max returned his Raichu, as he and Bonnie were the only ones who treated their Pokémon well. Dawn then returned Gallade. Max called out a Blaziken. "Let's do this, Jirachi," Dawn said, releasing the Wish Pokémon. Max was shocked and heartbroken to see her Jirachi. "Blaziken, use Karate Chop," he ordered reluctantly. "Jirachi, use Doomed Desire," Dawn commanded, leading to Jirachi's victory. They both returned their Pokémon. "Smash them, Charizard!" Max shouted as a giant fire lizard appeared, clearly worn out. Ash was infuriated, recognizing Charla, the Charizard from Terrific Valley, knowing he had to protect her from Max. Dawn realized she needed to win quickly and called out Kyurem. "Kyurem, use Blizzard," she commanded, and Kyurem unleashed a powerful blizzard that struck Charla. Max urged her to fight through it, and somehow, she survived. "Use Flamethrower," he shouted. "Use Ice Beam." Dawn countered. As the two attacks collided, Charla's Flamethrower was slowly pushed back, and when the Ice Beam hit, she fainted. Dawn took Charla's Pokeball and started to leave when Max released his other 2 Pokémon, a Swampert and a Sceptile, forcing them to Mega Evolve. Before an attack could be called, 2 Pokémon emerged from Dawn's side, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. They easily took down the 2 Mega Evolved Pokémon, and with that, Dawn returned the 3 Kyurem and left. She was close to the Pokémon Center when the traitors were waiting. "Hand over those 3 Kyurem and nobody gets hurt," Misty and Dileia threatened. But just like before, 6 legendaries emerged from their Master Ball: Xerneas, Black Kyurem, White Kyurem, Zekrom, Reshiram, and Heatran. Everyone around stared at the group of traitors, wondering what they had done to anger the legendaries and their trainers so much, as each confrontation brought forth the legendaries in anger. The traitors quickly fled, but one stayed behind Serena, hoping to get back on Ash's good side to gain some legendaries. "If you think Ash will trust you again, Serena, you're mistaken," Xerneas warned. Serena was taken aback by the Life Deer's venomous tone. "Go back to where you belong," Zekrom and Black Kyurem added, charging up a thunderbolt. "We want nothing to do with you or the rest of the traitors anymore," Reshiram and White Kyurem declared as they charged up a flamethrower. "Why are you still here?" Scram! Heatran snapped, making Serena run away in fear. Dawn didn't question their actions and simply thanked them before heading off to restore her Pokémon. It was time for the tag team battle between Ash and May against Clement and Misty. "This is a 6v6 battle with each trainer only getting 3 Pokémon, the referee announced. However, before he could continue, the trainers began releasing their Pokémon. "Take them down, Diggersby," Clement commanded. "Get them, Milotic," Misty added. When Milotic emerged, she appeared to be in poor condition and quickly fled behind May and Ash. Everyone understood the implication, prompting Misty to call her next Pokémon. "Golduck, you're up," she said, clearly annoyed. "Come on out, Genesect," Ash announced as the red Genesect appeared, causing Misty to gasp at its size. "Keldeo, your turn," May said, releasing the resolute form Keldeo, who glared at Clement while Genesect smirked at the frightened Misty. "Keldeo, use Sacred Sword," May instructed. "Genesect, Techno Blast," Ash commanded, and both attacks defeated Golduck and Diggersby. The crowd was stunned as they recalled their Pokémon, especially when they saw Ash and May prepare to summon their legendary Pokémon. "So, Ash, should we save the special ones for the end?" May asked. "Indeed, Alola will definitely want a surprise," Ash replied with a smile. "Come on out, Heliolisk," Clement called. "Misty, send out Wishiwashi," she said, releasing a giant fish Pokémon. "Come on out, Tapu Koko," Ash announced. "Tapu Fini, you're up," May added. As the two island guardians appeared, many Alola inhabitants went wild. Tapu Koko and Tapu Fini activated their special abilities, enhancing electric and water moves. "Tapu Koko, Thunderbolt on Heliolisk," Ash commanded. "Tapu Fini, use Hydro Cannon on Wishiwashi," May instructed, launching both attacks at their opponents. "Heliolisk is unable to battle," the referee declared, as Wishiwashi dodged the attack. "Go, Vikavolt," Clement said, releasing his final Pokémon. Ash and May returned the Tapus and held 2 Pokeball each. "We have something special for you, Alola region. Guardian of the Sun, show yourself, go Solgaleo," Ash called, releasing the Sun Lion Pokémon. "Guardian of the Moon, show yourself, Lunala," May said, releasing the Moon Bat Pokémon. The stadium erupted in excitement at the sight of the 2 legendary Pokémon. "We are not done yet," Ash said as he and May held up their keystones, causing 2 Mega Stones to appear around Solgaleo and Lunala. "Respond to our hearts and Mega Evolve," they said in unison. The crowd went wild at the sight of the Mega Sun and Moon legendaries, while Professors Kukui and Burnett were eager to learn about these legendary trainers and how they had gathered so many. "Solgaleo, use Sunrise Smash," Ash commanded, activating his Z-Ring. "Lunala, use Moonrays Maelstrom," May instructed, activating her Z-Ring as well. Both legendaries unleashed their most powerful attacks, securing victory in the battle. As Ash and May were leaving, a Gyarados, Wylord, Luxray, and Magnezone were released, but before they could attack, 4 mysterious Pokémon appeared and swiftly defeated them. "What are those Pokémon?" Clement shouted. "And why are they protecting you?" Misty added, equally frustrated. The 4 mysterious Pokémon then transformed into their regular forms, shocking everyone in the stadium as they recognized the other 2 island guardians and saw all 4 in new forms. They were quickly returned before Ash and May exited the stadium, where they were met by Alola reporters and Professors Kukui and Burnett, but they continued walking, ignoring the commotion. "So, who is Dawn up against?" May asked. "She is teamed up with someone named Kiawe and is facing 2 trainers named Sophocles and Lana. She won't be using her legendaries unless necessary, but I doubt she'll do it even then," Ash explained. Upon reaching the Pokémon Center, they found Max and Dileia waiting for them. "May, Ash, can we please become friends again? I miss my big sister," Max said with exaggerated tears. "And I miss my son," Dileia added, mirroring his tone, but neither Ash nor May was convinced. "Go cry me a river, like we would fall for fake tears," Ash replied. "Now get out of our way," May said firmly. "Not until we take your legendaries, Mega Stones, and Z-Crystal," Max said with a sinister grin. Just then, 2 legendary Pokémon that had never been seen before appeared. "Meet Zacian, the Sword Pokémon, and Zamazenta, the Shield Pokémon," May introduced. Legendaries of the Galar region, Ash added. In an instant, they ran away, and the two legendaries returned to their normal forms for the time being. Thanks, guys, Ash said, recalling Zacian as May recalled Zamazenta. They then spotted Eternatus in its Gigantamaxed form not far away and rushed to help Dawn. Upon arrival, they found a regular Eternatus and a fainted horde of Pokémon owned by the Traitors. Maybe next time you'll use Pokémon with actual training. I only Gigantamaxed because I didn't want to waste my time, Dawn remarked as she walked with Ash and May to the Pokémon Center to heal their Pokémon, including the newest member, Milotic. Time skipped to a few rounds later. It was time for the quarterfinals, with the remaining participants being Kiawe, Dileia, Syllan, Serena, Bonnie, Dawn, May, and Ash. The first battle was a 6v6 match between Kiawe and Syllan, where Kiawe's Turtonator ultimately defeated Syllan's Panzage, allowing him to advance to the semifinals. The next battle featured Dileia against Bonnie, with Bonnie emerging victorious. The third battle was set to be Dawn against May. This is a 6v6 Pokémon battle, substitutions are not allowed, and the battle ends when one side is unable to continue, the referee announced. Let's give them a show, Dawn, May encouraged. I agree, Dawn replied. They both agreed that the loser would join Ash's team against Serena, alongside Delphox, Pangoro, Sylveon, Yveltal, and Xerneas. Come on out, Luxray, May said, bringing out what used to be Clement's Luxray. Clement watched in frustration, wanting to confront Luxray and May. I choose Togekiss, Dawn declared, releasing a Pokémon that used to be Misty's beloved Togepi. Misty's heart sank at the sight. After several rounds, both trainers were down to their last Pokémon. I choose you, Blaziken, May announced, bringing forth her strongest Pokémon. I call out Empoleon, Dawn countered. Meanwhile, Ash was in another room, watching the battle on TV with Latias, who was due to lay her egg that day. As the father, Ash wanted to be present, and both girls understood, excited to soon be aunts to the new Latias egg. Who do you think is going to win, Ashy? Latias asked, smiling at her mate. I honestly don't know, they both have excellent talent and power, plus they are both currently holding back, he replied as he transformed into his Latios form, anticipating the arrival of their egg. Back at the battle, both Empoleon and Blaziken were determined not to give up. They had taken very little damage but were starting to tire. It's time to Mega Evolve, both girls declared in unison. When Empoleon Mega Evolved, everyone familiar with the Mega Stones in Kalos was shocked, and Professor Sycamore nearly fell from his seat at the discovery. The girls then commanded their Pokémon to unleash their most powerful attacks. Hydro Pump, shouted Dawn. Flamethrower, called May. The two attacks collided in the center, each pushing against the other as they fought for dominance, knowing they could only take one more hit. Blaziken attempted to use Sunny Day, but Empoleon countered with Rain Dance, ultimately winning the match. There you have it, folks. Dawn will be moving to the semi-finals and will be facing either Serena or Ash, the referee announced. On their way to the Pokémon Center, they were bombarded with questions about their legendary Pokémon and the discovery of Mega Empoleon, but the girls chose to remain silent and continued walking. Just as they were about to enter the Pokémon Center, the Traitors rushed in, seeking refuge behind them. Suddenly, two Mega Pokémon emerged from the forest, causing a stir. Looks like we need to deal with Mega Tyrant Rum and Mega Aurorus, Dawn said, grabbing two ancient Pokeball, one empty and one containing a Pokémon. May did the same. When they released their Pokémon, a Mega Evolved Rampardos and Mega Evolved Bastiodon appeared. The two Pokémon charged at Tyrant Rum and Aurorus, distracting them long enough for May and Dawn to throw the ancient ball, which were designed to freeze Mega Pokémon in their forms permanently. This worked especially well on Mega Fossil Pokémon. Once they returned their other Pokémon, the Traitors attempted to attack but were met with the fury of the Mega Fossil Pokémon. When the Traitors saw the swarm of fossil Pokémon, they panicked and retreated. Meanwhile, Latias was in slight discomfort as she prepared to lay her egg. You're okay, Latias. I'm right here, Ash reassured her as she gripped his hand tightly. She laid their egg in the nest, and when Dawn and May returned, they found Ash in his Latios form curled protectively around a blue, white, and red egg, marked with the same symbol that they all shared in their legendary forms. It was time for the battle between Ash and Serena. Unlike most days, Dawn was back in the room, keeping a close watch on Latias and the egg, just as Ash had requested. Empoleon stood guard at the door while Lopunny watched the windows. Dawn, I know Ash asked you to look out for me and the egg, but this feels like I'm a prisoner, Latias said calmly, though Dawn did not stop the Pokémon from their vigilance. In the battle, Ash and Serena had already sent out their Pokémon. Serena chose a newly caught Delphox, while Ash used her old Delphox. Serena was furious that her beloved Pokémon was now on Ash's side. Hey, Serena, I think it's time to show one of Delphox's new abilities, Ash said with a smirk. What does that mean? What can you do with a Delphox that I can't? Serena shouted angrily. Just then, Delphox was enveloped in light, and when the glow faded, the Mega symbol briefly appeared, revealing Mega Delphox. Serena's anger intensified upon realizing her old Delphox could Mega evolve. Mystical fire, they both yelled simultaneously. The attacks collided, but Ash's Delphox proved to be stronger, knocking Serena's out cold. Ash recalled Delphox and sent out two more Pokémon, Pangoro and Sylveon, the same Pokémon that had abandoned Serena when she betrayed Ash. As Ash Mega evolved both Pokémon, Serena's frustration grew. It didn't take long for her new Pangoro and Sylveon to be defeated, prompting her to recall them. Take him down, Granbull, she commanded, releasing a bipedal bulldog Pokémon. I think it's time I introduced you to an old friend, Serena, Ash said. Noticing her confused expression, he continued, Ancient deer of life, come forth and show your wrath. I call out Xerneas. Ash summoned the life deer Pokémon, and while the Mega Evolution was initiated, no one noticed Ash press his key stone or the Mega Stone appear on Xerneas. Serena stumbled back in slight fear at the sight. Moonblast, Xerneas. Ash commanded. A blinding light erupted from Xerneas, overwhelming everyone who looked directly at her, and she took down Granbull. Ash then sent out a Pokémon that sent chills down the spines of everyone present. Say hello to our old friend, Serena Yveltal, he called, bringing the dark bird onto the field. Yveltal, Mega Evolve, Ash instructed. In an instant, a more intimidating version of Yveltal appeared. Serena, recalling their first encounter, felt a shiver run down her spine. Come on out, Chestnut, she said, catching Ash off guard as he hadn't expected her to have one. Yveltal, use Oblivion Wing, but don't turn him to stone, Ash commanded. Yveltal nodded and soared into the air, unleashing a red beam of energy that defeated Chestnut. After both trainers recalled their Pokémon, Serena released her final one. Go, win this for me, Primarina, she urged, but the Alolan water type appeared injured and abused. Ash resolved to take her away from Serena if he won, thinking to himself, after I win, I'll have all three Alolan starters in their final forms. As Ash released Latias, she immediately flew to him and nuzzled against him. Alright, Latias, let's save Primarina quickly Mega Evolve, he instructed, pressing his key stone. Latias, use Psychic on Primarina, Ash commanded. Use Sparkling Aria. Serena shouted. Latias used Psychic to control the attack, causing it to hit Primarina, who, due to her current state, was instantly knocked out. Ash walked over and claimed Latias as his own before leaving the field to avoid the press and professors. However, he found the Traitors waiting at the Pokémon Center, their eyes filled with genuine sadness. Ash, I know you hate us, but will you please give us another chance? Dileia pleaded. Ash was about to respond when he noticed that Iris and Max were injured, their sadness real while the others tried to mask theirs. I will never forgive you, but I want to talk to Max and Iris alone, he said. Once the others were gone, Ash asked, what did they do to threaten you two? They were surprised he had figured it out. They threatened my Axu and Max's Ralts. We didn't tell our Pokémon because we didn't want to worry them, Iris explained honestly. Ash then tossed them both the Pokémon he had won from them during the tournament. You can join Dawn, May, and me, but one of us will watch you until we can be sure you won't betray us again. Deal? He proposed. They both agreed, happy to have the chance. In another match, Bonnie had defeated Kiawe using 6 strong Pokémon she had taken in from trainers who no longer wanted them. Now, she was nervous about facing Ash. I don't regret what I said before, but I admit you are strong. Please don't hold back against me, she said, surprising everyone. Will do, Bonnie. 2 of my Pokémon have a grudge against you and Pikachu, so use him in our match, Ash replied, earning a scoff from Bonnie. That Pikachu is weak now, he can't even use most of his moves, she retorted. They released their Pokémon, with Bonnie choosing Mimikyu and Ash opting for Deden. After an intense battle, both Pokémon were unable to continue. Bonnie then released Pikachu, wanting to get it over with, while Ash called out a familiar face. Come on out, Squishy, he exclaimed. Bonnie was upset that Squishy had joined Ash, transforming into his 10% form. Squishy used Earthquake, and Pikachu, unable to perform Iron Tail, was knocked out. Bonnie sent out Altaria, while Squishy transformed into his 50% form. After a tough battle, Squishy ultimately defeated Altaria, accessing his 100% form when Bonnie released Salamence. Squishy unleashed his powerful attack, Core Enforcer, easily bringing down Salamence. Bonnie then sent out her second-to-last Pokémon, an Alolan Raichu. Ash activated his Key Stone, allowing Squishy to Mega Evolve. You want to see a brand new Pokémon, Bonnie? He asked with a smirk. Sure, she replied. Ash then fused Lugia and Yveltal into one Pokémon, surprising everyone. Meet Yveltal, a dark and water type with all of Yveltal's and Lugia's moves, he announced. Bonnie's final Pokémon was a Ditto, which couldn't copy Yveltal or Yveltal, so it went with Lugia. Use Aeroblast, they both commanded simultaneously. The moves collided, but Bonnie's Ditto took significant damage. Now finish it with Oblivion Arrow Wing, Ash instructed. The attack hit Ditto hard, leaving it immobilized. Stop. Come on out, Xerneas, he said, bringing the Life Deer out to heal Ditto as he recalled both Lugia and Yveltal. Sorry, Bonnie, they got a little too excited, Ash apologized, handing the fully healed Ditto back to her. It's fine, Ash. At least you fixed your mistake, she replied with a smile. The next day, Ash faced Cynthia, the strongest of all the champions. I really don't want to go out there after my mess-up yesterday, he groaned. You know you have to, Ash. You promised to reveal your true form when you use your final Pokémon, Latias reminded him, with May and Dawn nodding in agreement as they pushed him out of the room. Upon entering the arena, Ash was met with a swarm of reporters but pushed through without answering any questions. On the battlefield, he saw Cynthia ready for action with Garchomp at her side. Hey Cynthia, long time no see, he greeted. Is what you said yesterday true? She asked, and he nodded. Yeah, I'm the adopted son of Mew and Arceus, and it'll make more sense when I reveal my last Pokémon. The referee announced the start of the battle. Come on out, Spiritomb, Cynthia called. I choose Palkia, Master of Space, Ash declared. Mega Evolve. Palkia floated above as it prepared a spatial rift attack, knocking out Spiritomb in one shot. They both returned their Pokémon, ready for the next round. Come on out, Galvantula, Cynthia said, releasing her newest member. I'll choose Dialga, Master of Time, Ash declared. Dialga, Mega Evolve, he commanded. Dialga unleashed a powerful attack, defeating Galvantula in one hit but inadvertently transforming him into a Joltik. Dialga, turn him back. Ash urged, and the time Pokémon complied, restoring Galvantula to his original form before they were both recalled. Come on out, Crocodile, Cynthia called. I choose Giratina, Ash responded. Giratina, change into your altered form, Ash instructed. Crocodile, Mega Evolve. Cynthia said. Ash was taken aback. Awesome. I need to find myself a Crocodilite so Crocodile can experience this, he thought as Giratina struggled against him. In the end, Mega Crocodile managed to take down Giratina. For the first time in this tournament, Ash Ketchum has lost a Pokémon, the referee announced. Just as he finished, Mega Crocodile collapsed from exhaustion, leaving both trainers down a Pokémon. Come on out, Mook, and Mega Evolve, Cynthia said. I'll go with Arceus, Mega Evolve, Ash replied. Arceus swiftly defeated Mega Mook with his fire plate activated and then returned to his normal form, standing by Ash's side. Ash then called out Mew while Cynthia released a Chandelure. Mega Evolve, both trainers shouted. Mew, use Oblivion Wing. Ash commanded. Quick, Chandelure, use Will-O-Wisp to absorb the attack. Cynthia instructed, but it was futile as Mew's power overwhelmed the attack, hitting Chandelure and knocking him out. Return, you did great. Now, go Garchomp, Cynthia said, looking at her land shark Pokémon. Mew floated over to Ash and hugged him before sitting on Arceus's head. Ash then stepped onto the battlefield, causing confusion among the spectators. Trainer, release your final Pokémon, the referee urged Ash. You see, a certain group of traitors tried to end me, but I was saved by Arceus, and I'm no longer a pure human, Ash explained as a blue light enveloped him. When the light faded, Ash had transformed. I am now a Latios, he communicated telepathically, shocking everyone as the trainer they knew had become a legendary Ian Pokémon. Well, shall we get this battle started or what? Ash asked, looking at their astonished faces. Garchomp rushed forward with Dragon Claw, but Ash dodged and countered with Dragon Pulse and then Psychic. And Ash Ketchum is the winner, the referee declared as Ash returned to his normal form. In the stands, the traitors plotted to capture Ash, and one of them threw a Pokeball, which hit him but had no effect. How did nothing happen just now? Cynthia wondered as Mew used Psychic to lift the traitors into the air for their attempted capture. Thing is, Dawn, May, and I all have enough human DNA in us, so Pokeballs won't affect us. My other DNA is either Latios for me or Latias for them, and I also have Mew DNA, Ash explained as the police arrested Brock for his actions, along with Syllan for trying to intervene. The next day, Ash and his friends were back at the Hall of Origin when a knock came at Ash's door. He opened it to find Max's Gardevoir and the regular-colored Rayquaza. Can I help you too? He asked, puzzled by their visit. Ash, do you think you could help us with a little problem? Gardevoir asked. Sure, what's up? Ash replied, smiling at them. Well, you know how you were turned into a Latios to be with Latias, May, and Dawn. I was hoping you could see if Iris wanted to be a Rayquaza while Gardevoir was hoping for Max to become a male Gardevoir because we both love them very much. I know Max feels the same towards Gardevoir, but I'm nervous about Iris, Rayquaza explained. Ash thought for a moment before smiling. Sure, first things first, I'll ask Iris how she feels about you, then see if they want to become the same species to be with you both, he said, walking away and leaving the two Pokémon very happy. Hey, Iris. Ash called. Yeah, what's up, Ash, she replied. I was wondering if you had feelings for Rayquaza, he asked. He didn't need an answer, her blush was proof enough. Come on, you and Max are about to receive a special gift from my father, Ash said, leading them to Arceus. Hello, my son, Iris, Max, what can I do for you? Arceus asked, smiling. I came to see about having these two become the same species as the Pokémon who love them. Max's female Gardevoir loves him and wishes he were a male Gardevoir, while the regular Rayquaza loves Iris and wishes she were a female Rayquaza, Ash explained, surprising the two behind him. Arceus nodded and looked at the two in question. I will only do this if you both are 100% okay with it, he said, and they both nodded. Okay, you will be unconscious for a day or two, but when you wake up, you will be in your new forms, Arceus explained. 2 days passed, and Max appeared as a pure male Gardevoir while Iris looked like a female Rayquaza. They both soon woke up and stared at themselves. May will lead Max to his Gardevoir, while Dawn will lead Iris to Rayquaza's room, Mew explained sleepily. As soon as Gardevoir saw May enter with a male Gardevoir, she recognized Max and rushed to hug him tightly. I love you, Max, she said, smiling. I love you too, Gardevoir, he replied, rubbing her back. Once they left to find a more private place to talk, Rayquaza and Iris intertwined their bodies until their eyes met and shared a loving kiss. I love you so much, Iris, Rayquaza said, embracing her. I feel the same way, Rayquaza, she replied. They then flew to Rayquaza's room to enjoy their time together while Gardevoir explained to Max how to shift from his Pokémon form to his human form. When he transformed, his hair changed to a green color with red tips, matching Gardevoir's. Gardevoir then transformed into her human form, and when Max saw her, he fainted from her beauty, making her giggle and blush at the same time. Ash was happy that his two friends were back with him, but he knew his ex-mother Dileia was looking for him to battle with her stolen Cantonian Pokémon. He discussed his plans with his Pokémon, explaining that they needed to get Dileia arrested for her actions. He believed that during their battle, Dileia would become overconfident and reveal the truth. Ash decided to bring Charizard, Luxray, Meganium, Zoroark, Avalugg, and Genesect to face her. Dileia had stolen 6 Pokémon from their rightful owners, including Arcanine, Dragonite, Kangaskhan, Gyarados, Persian, and Alakazam. After informing his friends and the legendaries about his plan, Ash teleported them all to Pallet Town. As they approached the forest, Serena confronted Ash, questioning his presence. Ash boldly challenged Dileia to a battle, stating that if he won, she would turn herself in and return the stolen Pokémon. Dileia smirked, confident that she would win and demanded that Ash hand over all his Pokémon if she succeeded. As the battle began, Ash activated a voice recorder to gather proof against Dileia. Dileia sent out Arcanine and Dragonite, while Ash called forth Charizard and Zoroark. Ash's Charizard had already Mega Evolved, which surprised Clement. Ash explained that this Charizard was different from the one he originally caught. He then commanded his Pokémon to use their powerful moves, quickly defeating Dileia's Pokémon. Dileia revealed that she had stolen the Pokémon to win the Kanto tournament and earn money after Ash stopped coming home with tournament winnings. She believed that once she won the battle, Ash's Pokémon would assist her in her schemes. They switched Pokémon again, and Dileia sent out Persian and Gyarados. Ash countered with Luxray and Avalugg, executing a powerful earthquake that took down Persian and defeated Gyarados with a well-timed thunderbolt. As the battle continued, Dileia released her final Pokémon, Alakazam and Kangaskhan. Ash called upon Genesect and Meganium, commanding them to Mega Evolve and unleash their attacks. Both moves struck their targets, knocking them out and causing a commotion that led to damage to Dileia's house. Ash and his friends struggled to contain their laughter as Dileia lamented the destruction. After the battle, Ash used Psychic to retrieve the Pokeball of the stolen Pokémon and prepared to return them to their rightful owners. He turned Dileia over to Officer Jenny, who took her into custody. Ash's friends helped him return the Pokémon, except for Kangaskhan, which was released back into the Safari Zone. Officer Jenny thanked Ash for his assistance before taking Dileia and Serena away. With Dileia and others in jail, Ash, Max, Iris, Dawn, and May began working on gathering evidence against Misty, Clement, and Bonnie. Max set up a camera to capture evidence of Bonnie's actions, while Iris disguised herself to follow Clement. Meanwhile, Ash, May, and Dawn sought information about Misty's gym. Back in the Hall of Origin, the legendary Pokémon gathered to discuss important matters, with Mew inquiring about the whereabouts of Ash and his friends. Arceus used his psychic abilities to teleport everyone to the Hall of Origin. May and Dawn expressed their frustration, asking Mutwo to provide a warning next time. Mutwo raised his hands in defense, explaining that it wasn't his doing this time, recalling a previous incident that left him unable to move for weeks. Arceus chuckled, reminiscing about that moment. Curious, Ash asked why they had been summoned. Arceus explained that they were there to discuss Ash's next steps on Earth, particularly his desire to compete in the leagues again, starting with Kanto. He mentioned that some of Ash's rivals, including Trip, Paul, Alan, Sawyer, and the competitive Gary, would be participating. Determined, Ash declared his intention to train his Kanto Pokémon, including Gengar, Charizard, Pidgeot, Primeape, Blastoise, and Venusaur, alongside Mew and Mewtwo for the tournament. The psychic legendaries smiled, while the others felt a bit left out until Ash added that he would also use Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, which thrilled the legendary birds. They joyfully hugged Ash, causing laughter in the room. Afterward, Ash mentioned he would begin training for the League Challenge, hoping to reunite with his sister, Leaf, who had gone missing after his Kanto journey. Arceus explained that he had sensed her presence in Kanto, prompting Ash's desire to check on her. Years later, Ash sat in his bed in the Hall of Origin, reflecting on the trophies he had won from various tournaments. While he appreciated the accolades, he valued his friends Iris, Max, May, and Dawn much more. He had collected every known Pokémon, with Arceus keeping him informed about new legendaries and regions. His most cherished prizes were May, Dawn, and Latias. However, Ash noticed some of his Pokémon were forming rival groups again. He sighed, recognizing the ongoing rivalries. Particularly between Pinsir and Scizor, and those involving Alolan and Galarian forms. Just then, May, Dawn, and Latias arrived, ready to help. After some time, they managed to calm down most of the Pokémon, except for 6 legendary birds who continued to squabble. Eventually, they succeeded in calming the 6 birds, but then Arceus informed them that some traitors had been released from jail, posing a new threat. Ash felt a surge of anger, and it took the combined efforts of several powerful Pokémon to restrain him while May, Dawn, and Latias helped him regain control. Arceus continued, explaining that the situation had worsened. Misty had been causing trouble, while Brock had distanced himself from the traitors and resumed his Pokémon doctorate. The others had also fallen into troubling behaviors. Ash, feeling frustrated, suggested that they had given the traitors enough chances to change. Yveltal interjected, but Ash's glare silenced him. Determined, Ash left the Hall of Origin to prepare for confronting the traitors, except for Brock, whom he hoped might have changed his perspective. Meanwhile, Brock was walking home when a bright light appeared, revealing an angry Ash. Brock felt nervous as Ash coldly asked why he had cut ties with the traitors, making it clear that he expected honesty. "I realized I was wrong, Ash. They were wrong about you, and I was wrong about you. We were once brothers, but now I'm your enemy. However, I'm hoping to make up for it. I cut my connections because they kept getting me close to losing my chance at my Pokémon doctor and breeder job, which I want, and I no longer want anything to do with them," Brock explained. "Good answer, Brock. I'll give you another chance, but it'll be a while before we become as close as we once were. As for the traitors, they won't be around for much longer," Ash replied before disappearing. Brock was confused by Ash's words but decided not to question it as he continued on his way. Ash appeared in front of Misty's home and called upon a few friends from the forest. Soon, a swarm of Beedrill appeared, led by a rare Mega-evolved Beedrill that Ash owned. "How may we serve you?" asked the Mega Beedrill. "First, I've told you before, you don't need to call me Master, just Ash is fine. Second, there's an annoying girl in here who's afraid of bug types, and since you all are bug and poison types, I need you to handle her." Arceus is already aware and approves of this, Ash instructed. The swarm nodded and headed inside. Ash heard a lot of screams, and he felt a sense of satisfaction when he heard Misty's voice among them. Just as the swarm left the building, the authorities arrived. "Sir, do you know what happened here?" Officer Jenny asked. "When I got here, all I heard were screams, and then something knocked me out. I just woke up before you all got here," Ash replied. "I think we should give you a checkup to make sure you're alright. If you were knocked out, then you must have been hit pretty hard by something," Officer Jenny said, leading Ash to one of the medics. After they confirmed he was fine, Ash left to deal with the next group of traitors, Serena, Clement, and Bonnie. Hey, Zygarde, Xerneas, and Yveltal, do you want to take care of Bonnie, Clement, and Serena? Ash asked as he entered the Hall of Origin, where the 3 Kalos legendaries were waiting. We were actually hoping to do just that. Zygarde wants Bonnie, Xerneas wants Serena, and I want Clement, Yveltal said. Ash nodded and returned them. He sent a mysterious message to the 3 traitors, inviting them to receive powerful rewards if they showed up, then went to the meeting place. Once he arrived, cloaked and masked, he waited for the traitors to appear. So, you decided to show up, Ash said. Of course. We would be fools to turn down an offer like the one you made, Serena replied, her eyes shining with intrigue as she looked at the mysterious figure. Your rewards will be here soon, but to receive them, you must pass a test. If you fail, there will be consequences, Ash warned, making them all nervous, but they accepted the challenge. Very well, but once you start, there will be no turning back, Ash said as Zygarde, Xerneas, and Yveltal appeared, glaring at the traitors. They unleashed their most powerful attacks, Core Enforcer from Zygarde, Moonblast from Xerneas, and Oblivion Wing from Yveltal. The impact was devastating, and Ash noted the outcome with a sense of finality. For down, 2 to go, Ash said as he returned to the Hall of Origin for the time being. When Ash returned, he was confronted by Mew, Arceus, Zekrom, and Reshiram. Ash, we want you to use us when you deal with Scyllin, Zekrom said, pointing to himself and Reshiram. And we want revenge on Dileia when her time comes, Mew added, visibly upset. Also, I think it's time Mew and I told you something we should have shared as soon as you woke up in your Latios form, Arceus said nervously, surprising Reshiram, Zekrom, and Ash. Father, are you okay? You seem nervous, Reshiram asked. Yes, I'm fine, just a little family predicament in my mind right now, Arceus replied calmly. Zekrom and Reshiram returned to their room, as Ash had been helping the legendaries express their feelings. Once Arceus and Mew were alone with Ash, they both appeared anxious. Ashy, do you know why I was quick to adopt you when you first woke up? Mew asked. Ash nodded, prompting her to continue. Well, there was more to it. I did it because of what I told you, but also because you are our biological child. I didn't want anyone else to adopt you. I'm sorry for keeping this from you for so long. Your true form was badly injured when Giratina was out of control, and we could only save you by turning you human. We thought Dileia would be the perfect substitute, but we were wrong, Mew explained sadly. We understand if you can't forgive us, but just know that even when you were human, we loved you, Arceus added. To their surprise, Ash did not react with anger. Instead, he flew up and hugged them both happily. I forgive you both. It wasn't your fault, and you did it to save my life. Of course, I forgive and love you both, Ash said joyfully. Both parents smiled and embraced him. Now, should we inform everyone else about this? Ash asked. We'll handle that. You go to your friends and let them know, Mew said, hugging Ash before kissing his cheek. I love you, Ash. I love you too, Mom, and I love you, Dad, Ash replied before leaving. Meanwhile, Scyllin and Dileia were in the same bed, about to fall asleep. Did you hear? Serena, Clement, Bonnie, and Misty have all been reported dead. Misty was taken out by a swarm of Beedrill, and the others by the Kalos legendaries, Scyllin said. Yeah, and I have a feeling we're next, Dileia responded, just as Darkrai appeared. Traitors don't deserve to have Cressilia's gifts, so I'll replace it with my own. I hereby curse them to have never-ending nightmares whenever they fall asleep, Darkrai declared, a dark purple glow surrounding them before he vanished, leaving them to their fate. Cressilia, with a loving smile, asked, Is it done, dear? Darkrai replied, Yes, honey, the job is done. Dileia and Scyllin will have never-ending nightmares from now on. They curled around their egg, contemplating the future. Ash was floating through the Hall of Origin's hallway when he heard noise coming from his parents' bedroom. He quickly flew over and knocked. "Mom, Dad, are you both okay?" he asked, slightly panicking. The noise stopped, and Arceus opened the door. "Come on in, son. We want you to see something," Arceus said. Ash floated over to Mew, who smiled brightly. "Ash, we have a surprise for you. You're going to be a big brother." This news caused Ash to drop out of the air in shock. "Great, I hope this child won't faint so much," Arceus joked. "If I recall, that's from your side, not mine," Mew giggled, splashing Ash with water to wake him up. "Not cool, Mom," Ash said, shaking off the water. Mew explained, "I had to use hot water since the cold didn't work. Anyway, here is your new baby brother or sister." "Wait, I thought you would know what gender it is," Ash asked, confused. Mew replied, "We can find out with a psychic type like myself or my brother Mutwo, but I'd rather it be a surprise for everyone, just like with you." Ash hugged Mew, relieved that everyone was okay. "When I heard the noise, I thought someone was attacking you, Mom." "Then why did you knock instead of barging in?" Arceus asked. Ash hesitated. "Well, I wasn't entirely sure. I was 40% sure it was an attack and 20% sure you were having a nightmare." He avoided mentioning the other 40%. "Ash, that's only 60%. What was the other 40%? Mew inquired, having already peeked into his mind. I thought you two were." "Well, you know," Ash stammered, trying to escape but getting caught in a psychic bubble. Mew teased, "There's no harm in that, Ashy. Do we need to prove to you that it's okay for Pokémon to mate in front of each other?" Ash panicked, "You wouldn't." Mew smirked, "If that's what it takes, then yes, I will." Ash quickly reassured her, "Okay, I won't get embarrassed by that again." Mew released him, and Ash sighed in relief, heading towards Zekrom and Reshiram's room. "Hey, Zekrom, Reshiram, it's time we go after Scyllin. Kyurem, Black Kyurem, and White Kyurem will be joining us," Ash announced as he approached the three. "You three better be in fighting condition or you aren't coming," he warned, receiving nods in response. When he entered the room, Ash found White Kyurem in a nest with 2 eggs. "White Kyurem, I think you should stay here with your eggs." "You two should stay with her," Ash advised, and they nodded in agreement. He collected Reshiram and Zekrom before disappearing from the Hall of Origin. The next day, Scyllin was wandering through a forest when he suddenly fell into a hole and lost consciousness. When he awoke, he found himself in a vast space. "Hello, Scyllin. Been a long time, hasn't it?" Ash called from a ledge. "Who's there? Show yourself," Scyllin demanded. Ash jumped down, landing with a thud but unharmed. "Ash? How did you survive that fall?" Scyllin asked, fear creeping into his voice. "Being part dragon type means I'm strong and durable. But enough about that, it's time you pay for your crimes," Ash said, releasing Zekrom and Reshiram. "They know you and personally asked to confront you." "Wait, before anything happens, were you responsible for Serena, Clement, Bonnie, and Misty's fates?" Scyllin questioned. "Why would you think that? I haven't been to Kanto or Kalos in ages. I live in the Hall of Origin, and I heard what happened from Arceus," Ash replied, knowing there was a camera present. "Then why are you here?" Scyllin asked, scared. Ash waited for Mutwo's signal before indicating Zekrom and Reshiram to approach. "I don't trust any of you traitors after what happened before. I won't risk being near you without backup," Ash explained. Mutwo appeared beside Ash. "It's done. All recording technology has been destroyed, and all video data is erased," he confirmed before returning. "He's all yours," Ash said, patting Zekrom and Reshiram as they prepared for what was to come. They both charged up an extremely powerful blast, sending Scylin's body flying towards the nearest town. "Well, we better head back," Ash said as he returned both legendary Pokémon and then teleported to the Hall of Origin. There, he released Mewtwo, Reshiram, and Zekrom so they could return to their normal activities. As Ash walked to his room, he noticed all the other legendary Pokémon waiting beside his door. "Hey! What's going on?" Ash asked, a bit annoyed that they were blocking his way. "Ash, thank goodness. Your friends have been worried because they couldn't find you. We had to put them to sleep with Dark Void from Darkrai to keep them from leaving," explained Palkia, guiding Ash towards the door. You guys do realize they can teleport, right?" Ash pointed out. All the legendaries froze at this. "Oh well," Ash shrugged as he walked inside. "Wake them up, Cresselia." A few minutes later, Latias, May, and Dawn woke up and saw Ash. "Where have you been?" they yelled in unison. "Sorry, I was with Reshiram and Zekrom dealing with some traitors, including Silen. Now I have to wait a few months before I can take care of Dileia," Ash explained. "Why?" Dawn asked. "Because I have a little sister on the way, and thankfully, she has none of Silen's traits. I had Mewtwo and Arceus check for me. Once she's born and they are free, I will take care of Dileia, and my little sister will live here with us and all our Pokémon. We just need to make it look like I had no connection, so we'll use a legendary Pokémon that no one has ever seen before," Ash continued, grabbing a beast ball from his collection. "Wait, is that the beast ball that contains the one-of-a-kind Ultra Beast given to you by Necrozma?" May asked, a bit apprehensive. "Yes, and everyone in Alola knows the legend about it and how it punishes those who have committed crimes. It will look like a natural event since she will be living in Alola," Ash explained as he released the beast ball to show what would happen in a few months. He then told May, Dawn, and Latias that 2 more females would be joining them as his mates according to Arceus. Although they were not thrilled about more girls being with Ash, they understood he loved them all equally. After a few years of planning, Ash decided it was time to put his plan into motion. He grabbed all his beast ball and teleported to Pony Island first to enlist some help. Ash arrived at a campsite near Tapu Fini's domain, excited to see the girl who was using it. When she unzipped her tent, she saw Ash making breakfast with his back turned, not realizing it was him. "Who are you, and give me one good reason I shouldn't send my Garchomp and Tyrant Rum after you," she said, grabbing 2 Pokeball. "Because you wouldn't hurt your own brother, would you?" Ash replied, turning to reveal his face. "Ash, is that really you?" the girl asked, a smile of surprise spreading across her face. "Hey, Leafeon, it's been a long time," Ash said, using the nickname he had given her when she got her first Pokémon. "Ash, I'm not a kid anymore, stop using that nickname," Leaf groaned as her Pokeball containing her shiny male Leafeon opened up. The Leafeon immediately got defensive of Leaf until he realized who she was talking to. "Hey, Leafeon, have you been behaving for my sister?" Ash asked, receiving a nod from the Leafeon as he started to nuzzle and lick Leaf's face and neck. "Seems like he likes you more than you think," Ash teased, causing both of them to blush. "Ash!" Leaf yelled, embarrassed. "Hey, I'm not judging. I have no room to judge your relationship since I have a similar one," Ash said, surprising both of them. Just then, Latias, May, and Dawn teleported beside Ash. Leaf jumped at their sudden appearance. "Who are they, and how did they do that?" Leaf asked. "You see, Dileia apparently isn't our true mother, Leaf. Mew and Arceus are," Ash explained as he transformed into his Latios form, while the other 3 girls turned into their Latias forms and kissed Ash on the cheeks. "And these are my mates," Ash introduced everyone. Mew then appeared and hugged Leaf while shedding tears of joy. "Mew, I have a question. Do you think you could turn most of my DNA into a Leafeon so I could change between human and Pokémon to be with Razor?" Leaf asked, blushing, not realizing she was already transforming into a Leafeon. Once the transformation was complete, Leaf was fully aware that she was now a Leafeon and was tackled to the ground by Razor, her male Leafeon, who began to nuzzle her and express his affection. After an hour of fun, Leaf asked why Ash was there in the first place. "You see, Dileia and a bunch of my former friends betrayed me and tried to harm me. I'm sure you noticed the tournament where Dawn, May, and I used legendaries against certain trainers. Those were the traitors. Most of them have been dealt with, but Dileia needs to be eliminated. I have the perfect Pokemon for the job, one that has legends surrounding it in the Alola region, so I was hoping you would assist me," Ash explained. Leaf was furious at Dileia, and Razor and all of Leaf's other Pokemon shared her sentiment. "That would explain why I kept getting notifications about a Pokemon being transferred to me from a mysterious trainer," Leaf said, while her other Pokemon trained vigorously, except for the Garchomp that Ash had given to Leaf as a gibble when they met in Sinnoh after the betrayal. The Garchomp recognized Ash and nuzzled him. "I never took him off my team, a reminder that even when we were far apart, we would always be together," Leaf said, smiling at her brother. Ash smiled as his Pokemon played with Leaf's team, which included Garchomp, Razor, Male Leaf Eon, Tyrantrum, Dusk Form Lycanroc, Alolan Sandslash, and the newest member that Ash had just given to Leaf, Dawn Form Lycanroc. Ash had his own Dusk Form, and shortly after collecting all of Alola's Pokemon, he discovered the Dawn form of Lycanroc. As the two new Lycanroc forms played together, Leaf was amazed that Ash had found both the Dusk and Dawn forms, adding 2 more evolutions for Rockruff alongside Midday and Midnight. After a few hours, both trainers recalled their Pokemon and Ash teleported himself and Leaf to Melee Island, where Dileia lived. Leaf decided to visit Dileia and asked to spend time with her sister, whom Dileia named Ashley. To Leaf's surprise, Dileia was more than happy to send Ashley off with her, even suggesting that Leaf keep her on her journey. While Ash and Leaf comforted Ashley, a sudden disturbance occurred. A powerful entity opened an ultra wormhole to the Hall of Origin, leaving everyone shaken and believing the legends were true. This event led to a newfound peace in Alola, as the townsfolk recognized the reality of the legends. Ash returned to the Hall of Origin alone after granting Leaf the ability to transport herself and Ashley whenever they wished. Ashley wanted to travel with Leaf, and Mew and Arceus agreed that once she turned 10, they would alter her DNA to help her find her true Pokemon partner. As Ash said his goodbyes to his sisters, he was unexpectedly tackled by a Pokemon. Both Lycanrocs intervened, and Ash turned to see his old Pikachu, who seemed displeased. Ash smirked and released his new shiny spiky-eared Pikachu. Pikachu, feeling replaced, prepared to unleash an attack, but Ash and his new Pikachu countered with a powerful move that sent Pikachu far away. Unbeknownst to Ash, Pikachu landed in a volcano, leaving Ash to comment on the situation without realizing the true consequences. Years later, Ash was relaxing on his bed with Cynthia, May, Dawn, Latias, and Penelope, enjoying a well-deserved break from their 5 energetic children. Ashley had chosen to become a Zekrom, and Leaf had successfully completed all the region's challenges. Ash noticed that Arceus seemed troubled and approached him, asking what was wrong. Arceus revealed that the old traitors, including Pikachu, had been brought back as Pokemon without memories of their past betrayals, ready to join Ash and his friends. Ash, surprisingly unfazed, decided to welcome the old Pokemon back into his life. He released them one by one, noticing that each Pokeball represented the traitor's former type. To his astonishment, all of them were shiny Pokemon. Ash decided how to distribute them among his friends, ensuring that each received a Pokemon that suited them. Ashley was thrilled to receive a Dedenne, while the others expressed their gratitude with affectionate gestures. As Ash walked around, he pondered what forms the other traitors might take. His thoughts were interrupted by an explosion from the room of Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina. Knowing their playful rivalry, Ash calmed them down before returning to his room. His 5 mates greeted him in unison, and Ash suggested they all relax together. They agreed, and Ash took them to a secluded beach where they could enjoy each other's company and the sun. Ash reflected on how everything had finally come together perfectly.